one started. Hopefully.
Yay. To the amazing What If.
What if? What if issue 2 was better than issue 1?
It was a bit better than issue 1.
Yeah.
But it was still...
It was long, again.
Long.
Like, I don't get the long thing.
It's like they're telling the entire life story of
Yes. Okay.
the Hulk.
So, did we talk about What If episode 1 last time?
We did.
Okay. So, my problem with What If episode 1 on Disney Plus, spoilers, is that they were like retelling the exact same story, but just a little bit different, which I get is What If, but like you could just tell a new story with a change. You know, it doesn't have to be like the exact same thing with just a couple details changed, which is what I felt like episode 1 was like. And I felt like episode 2 was way better than that. But I feel like the beginning of the story was like you don't have to tell us the Hulk story. I'm assuming if somebody's going to be reading this, what if the Hulk had the brain of Bruce Banner, you're going to assume that they know who the Hulk is. Also, you could just be like, when he got changed, he still had his brain, and not have to do like I'm pretty sure they did like the whole first issue of the Hulk at the beginning.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like...
It's like, we've already heard this story like 5 times. The
Now
first 4 issues of the Hulk, and now this time. I love, though, so the reason we decided to read this one was because we were going to give it another chance because the first one was bad. And, like,
Right.
It was like, oh, the Hulk being smart. Like, that's my whole problem with the Hulk, is that he's just, like, a mindless smushing machine. And so how did they start this out? They're like, but first, let's see what our ever rampaging green Goliath is up to in our troubled world. Like, they had to start with him breaking things for no reason. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Break.
Like, the reason that I was gonna give this a chance is because it was gonna be a Hulk that didn't just smush everything. And no, they had to start out with our Hulk. Okay, so that was like a negative point for me. And then they immediately break into issue 1 of the Hulk that we've already read.
Right. So when he comes out of the thing, he's like, oh.
Yeah, so instead he's smart, or like he knows who he is still. And what is the first thing he does as Smart Hulk? He breaks through an effing wall. I'm like, are you kidding me? You have a brain now, and you want to get away. You could just use a door.
Yeah, really, or open the window. You didn't have
Yeah.
to smash through the wall.
Not destroy the wall. Okay. And then, so he's saying something along the lines of, you know, I don't want anybody to see me, because, you know, I want to figure out what's going on with me first or whatever. And so what does he do? He's just like walking across the road and gets hit by a car. Like, if you don't want people to see you, why aren't you like sneaking from bush to bush instead of just like walking in the roadway in front of a car? So I'm already upset. Like, this is not a smart Hulk. This guy's a moron.
Right.
But instead of shooting at them, they run away this time. So whoop-de-doo.
Run for your lives.
He still finds Igor the commie spy in his lab, but he doesn't kill him. But he didn't kill him the first time. So I just don't know why he had a dilemma over that. Because he didn't kill him the first time either. But
well, yeah, he gets shot by. Oh, look, I am bulletproof.
Yeah. But the spy guy gets a little upgrade on his thumbnail. It looks fancier now than issue 1. We still have the gargoyle dude. I had to go back because I couldn't remember if the gargoyle was in the first issue. I thought maybe he was like a second issue bad guy, but he is the first issue bad guy.
He's the first issue bad guy, right?
And then they put, what's her name? Betty? Is her name Betty? Yeah, I think it is. They put her in pants. They gave her some pants. And they
because this was written in the 70s, not the 60s.
And they gave her a little bit of like her own will. Like she went out looking for the Hulk instead of just like fainting every time she was in a panel. So
amazing what a little
time
civil rights march can do for you.
Yeah. Well, she didn't get too far, but she got a little bit.
She's wearing pants and
And then so the gargoyle once again magically lands like out in the middle of nowhere right near the Hulk, which happened in the first one that I was unhappy about. And he tries to shoot him, but the Hulk is able to overcome his mind slave ray. And then he just talks it out. He just talks it out with the gargoyle. And they say they're friends now.
Yeah, we're going to do some therapy.
Yeah. The gargoyle's like,
theory.
Oh, if you're like ugly and you can handle it, I'll be ugly and handle it. So that was funny. I found that very hilarious. And then he leaves and he's like, why'd you let him go like that? He's like, trust between peoples has to start somewhere, Rick.
That's very, we got more, now we have existential Hulk.
Yeah, it was funny. So anyways, Hulk, it becomes daylight and Hulk turns back into Bruce Banner, so it's the same thing so far. But it mentioned somewhere in here that I guess in the later comics, that Hulk does only turn into Hulk when he's angry. So like the day-night thing stopped happening at some point. We didn't read that far, but I guess that did happen. And then this makes me a little upset. So I guess Betty and Bruce Banner go off and fall in love on a lake in a day. And then he's like, oh, we have to get home because it's getting dark. So let me, the Hulk, who I'm not sure how my powers work yet, get behind the wheel of a vehicle while it's getting dark outside. Okay. He's supposed to be like the smartest man in the world, right? That's how the gargoyle found him the first time. He was like able to find the brain power of the smartest man in the world. This man is not the smartest. Well, if he is the smartest man in the world is doomed.
Right.
But Betty's...
Why didn't Betty drive the car?
Yeah. Or, like, just not get in the car. Like, if you knew it was going to happen. Because I'm sure he destroyed the car. So Betty gets home and meets her dad in the dark. And he's like, get away from the monster, blah, blah, blah. But this time he doesn't... okay. So this was another problem I had. Her father's upset because she loves a monster. And she's like, it's Bruce Banner. It's not a monster. And he's like... And so... Okay, so she says that. And then Bruce smashes a car to pieces. Like, she's trying to prove that you're a human with logical thinking, which is what this whole thing is supposed to be about. And so you just smush a car?
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Well, because if he gets angry, he's still...
Anyways, so after smashing the car, the guy's like, oh, I guess it's okay, and you're going to be my future son-in-law. And he just gets over it. I feel like this also happened in the first What If comic, that people just get over things real quick.
Right.
Like, without a reason. They're just like, okay, we have 34 pages, but we need to move on quickly. So then they go off and live in the forest.
Happily almost ever after.
Yeah. Okay.
Get married. They're going to have little Hulks.
And then, of course, she brings him, like, food and drinks. So, like I said, I mean, we move forward a little bit, but she's still, like...
Serving.
Yeah, she's a housewife.
Well, yeah, it's not perfect.
I mean, if that's what she wants to do, all for her. I feel like she's a better developed character than in the first one.
Oh yeah.
So he's chilling there, but I guess he's like working on sciencey stuff, and the Fantastic Four call. As soon as the Fantastic Four show up, I'm mad. I don't like the Fantastic Four. I don't know why anybody likes the Fantastic Four. They're terrible super people. The story's bad. I don't know. I don't get it. I guess I don't know. I have to be sold on it, and I'm not. So he jump flies to New York, and it says, but Bruce Banner's other self is well known to the world. They said he was hiding out in the jungle to stay away from the world, so how is he well known to the world? There's no point in him hiding in a forest if everybody knows him. I don't know.
Maybe it's his science. He's known for his science.
But he would also be known as the Hulk because they're like, oh, we're not going to freak out because there's a green giant man flying through the sky. We know who that is.
Oh, right.
Once again, bad writing. I'm just going with it. So the Fantastic Four want him because they want to turn the Thing back into a human. Okay. I'll go with this one because Bruce Banner is supposed to be the smartest person in the world, which means he's smarter than Reed Richards, which means Reed Richards is just a waste of space. I don't like the Fantastic Four. So they turn the Thing and back into Ben, and he's happy about it and goes off to get married. And then randomly the Human Torch leaves too when Ben leaves.
He's I don't understand that.
They're like, yeah, okay, we're not the Fantastic Four anymore, and the Human Torch is like, I guess I'm going too. Bye. I don't know.
Did they heal? Did they heal the Torch as well?
I don't think so. Hey, any chance of us helping the Doc out the same way? Yeah, no, there's nothing. It's just, nope.
Yep. Nope.
No
just
reason.
Broke up.
Just
he broke up the Fantastic Four.
The Human Torch decided to take off too. So, the Hulk is like going home, and Loki. This must be based off of another issue that we didn't read. I guess so. Loki was planning on doing something with the Hulk. Or I guess maybe this is how the Avengers came to be.
Oh, because he uses the Hulk somehow.
He uses the Hulk to be like a bad guy,
right.
Which we don't know. I haven't read that, and I don't know anything about it. But I guess that's what it's about. But because he can think, Loki's like, "Oh darn, my plans are ruined, and that's the end." Once again, it's just like the superheroes in the first, or the supervillains in the first one are just like one thing, and they're like, oh well, I guess I should just give up being a bad guy. I'm done. Not come up with another idea. It's fine. So yeah, and so he goes back to live in his forest, but he's like, oh, we can't live here anymore, you know. They're not fated to live for long in a peaceful seclusion. I mean, people knew who they were anyway. I don't know. Whatever. So anyways, they moved to New York to stay with Reed Richards and Susan Storm. And so this made me mad. So Susan Storm and Betty get together, and Susan says, "You'll love New York, Betty. Bloomingdale's gives a special discount to superheroes' wives." Now, I would have a problem with this normally just because, you know, it's not right. But Susan Storm is a superhero.
Right.
She's her own superhero.
So she should get a discount anyway because she is a superhero.
But she only gets a discount because her husband is a superhero. So anyway, I know it's the times, but I was just like, are you kidding me? Susan Storm, I mean, she is the crappiest superhero of all time, but she technically is a superhero. Anyway, so I had a problem with that. So Reed Richards and Bruce Banner are working on stuff.
Right, and Charles Xavier comes
Yes,
along.
X-Men, which I'm sure people are very excited about, and we haven't read any X-Men comics.
Right.
So, what happened? They're building something called a Psychotron, which I guess has a relation or no relation to the later device introduced in Avengers number 41, which we haven't read. So, but I guess they reused that word for something else.
Right. So now we're building a Psychotron.
And I love
There's 3 smart guys.
Yeah, I love that Xavier's like, I'm truly glad I came here instead of forming a school for mutants as I had originally intended. I feel like that was like, man, I'm glad I started on this science project instead of saving people's lives. F them. It's just a weird way to say it. So they make a machine, the Cerebro machine, which I think he had before anyway, but maybe he had it a different way. But it was so strong that it sent out a signal and attracted Galactus.
Galactus.
Which I only know of Galactus from Fortnite. He was in Fortnite a few seasons ago, and I don't know anything else about him. But I guess he destroys planets or something. So they try to stop him, but he's like a god or something. So even superheroes aren't going to be able to stop him. And somehow Xavier gets into a tiny little flying ship at some point and shoots him, and then gets crashed. That's so random. Maybe that happened in the other book that this is from.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Then, okay, so, yeah.
Yeah, and then they decide, while Galactus is out there destroying the Earth, that they're going to build a machine that puts all of their, like, consciousness, smartness together.
Right.
And
So
creates an X-Man.
Instead of X-Men, X-Man.
There's an X-Man who doesn't seem like... I thought he was maybe going to turn on them, but he didn't.
Right.
So they create that, and he smacks down Galactus. Not completely, but Galactus is like, I can find easier planets. Like, I don't need this one. There's plenty out there. So Galactus leaves,
right.
Just like every other supervillain is like, oh, like that guy's coming back. That's happening.
They do like to give up, don't they? They're bad guys. They just give up.
Well, I just like them leaving the current space that the superheroes are in is like enough. Superheroes like, all done. Forever. Right. Good job. And he's like just in the next room. And it's like, okay, if you say so. So X-Man goes away, and when they come back to themselves, everybody's lost their power, which I have to say, for Mr. Stretch Armstrong, his power wasn't that great anyway. So nobody cares. And the Hulk, I mean, he's only been the Hulk for a short period of time, so get over yourself. Now Xavier had like the super mind power, so that one would be upsetting. But the rest of them, nobody cares. And I forgot, Ben had showed up in the middle of it and got smushed by the X-Man, and Ben got turned back into the Thing.
Oh, right.
The Thing with the Hulk's powers, and he doesn't have like his brain anymore. So now he's like the new Hulk, and Bruce Banner's just a smart guy again. And that took 34 pages.
Yep.
To read.
Yep. It was not a...
Yeah.
There's some problems with the plotting and the story.
Yeah. I feel like they want to cram too much into it. And I think it'd be better... You know, I'm saying this from a 2021 standpoint. So maybe they didn't have this knowledge yet, but like putting tiny little Easter eggs in versus like shoving characters into the plot just to be like, oh, this character showed up again. It's just, no, don't do it. You could also like skip 6 pages by not just doing issue number 1 of the Hulk again.
Ever.
Yeah. Did you watch that second episode of What If?
I did, but I want to think the one thing I find is interesting. So basically what they're saying is if the Hulk joined up with the Fantastic Four, then there'll be no X-Men. There'll be no Fantastic Four. There'll be no X-Men. And there'll be what was there? There was another group, wasn't there? That went bye-bye.
Oh, the Avengers. There wouldn't be any Avengers.
There are no Avengers, no X-Men, no. So, the Hulk having a brain be bad. Because then we wouldn't have anybody to defend the planet.
At that time.
Because all the superheroes would be gone away. Because he cured them all. And all we have left is the rock guy. What the hell is his name?
The Thing.
The Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he's a super person with actual powers. Like, Stretch Armstrong doesn't do crap. Susan Storm doesn't do crap.
Right.
The Torch, I mean, he's got a pretty awesome power, but he usually just gets smacked down out of the sky. Like, why don't you set people on fire with your power? Like, that'd do something. Yeah, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, it's like, having him keep his brain just would totally mess up the universe, right?
Yeah.
I am not impressed with this series because it's just they're just kind of retelling it,
right,
with retelling the stories instead of giving him a new story with a brain.
Yeah, I feel like the comics, yeah, okay. I'm trying to compare it to What If episode 1, which I absolutely didn't like, which was just a retelling of the same story. This, besides them having issue 1 for the first 6 pages, was not the retelling of the same story. It was a new story. But maybe not. Maybe it was just other issues of the comics that we haven't read yet. So I just, why does it have to be so long?
Yeah. Why
That's
are they
my
making
question.
it 34 pages long?
Yeah. I get through
Then
like
we're
half
gonna-
and I'm like, when is this ending?
It's like I said, it's not plotted very well because you have so the story question is what would happen if so the story question is what would happen if Bruce Banner retained his smarts when he became the Hulk. And the answer is,
Everything.
so as soon as you answer that question, the story's over.
Yeah.
So, and the answer is, well, he marries Who's-He What's-It, and then he goes and see the X-Men, and he changes everything. That answers the question. Boom, story's over. So as they continue it on, it's just continuing it on to, okay, so there's no more Fantastic Four, there's no more Avengers, there's no more X-Men. Then we have Galactus has come along, and you have trouble defeating him, and then there's no more of the trio of smart guys either.
And why did both issues have to be about Fantastic Four? It sounds like, what if Fantastic Four was involved in all these stories? Like, that's
Yeah.
Well,
remember that thing we read, the first 2 issues were done by the same guy, so I would assume that he maybe had something
Yeah.
liked it or something. Now, I did watch episode 2 of the What If series, and took me a while to spoilers. Well, it took me a while to figure out what the heck was going on, but basically it's the Black Panther is the Star-Lord.
Yep.
Instead of Brill. instead of the kid from
Yeah.
the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't know his name. To me, he will always be Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching. I'm like, where's Rocket? Where's the raccoon? The raccoon wasn't there. Why
Nope.
wasn't the raccoon there?
Because he was in jail with Groot. Because if Quill, his name's Quill.
Quill.
If Quill never became the Star-Lord, then he never broke them out of jail altogether. So they're in jail somewhere still.
Well,
And the purple guy, or I don't know, like grayish purplish guy, whatever his name is, he never went to jail because Thanos never destroyed his planet, so he never fought people and ended up in jail. That's why he wasn't in jail.
why didn't? Yeah, it was just kind of like, okay, so then Thanos doesn't. Thanos is now your big best friend, and it's not destroying planets anymore.
Yeah, everyone seemed to love that, and I can kind of get it, cause like now it's like when you stay friends with somebody who's like has different views than you, and you're like, oh, we're kind of still friends, but it's like that guy wants to commit mass genocide still. Like he doesn't see a problem in that, but you're gonna be friends with him. It's like okay.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you stopped him once, but like that didn't change any of the values in his head. Like he still thinks it's a good plan. So I thought it was much better than episode 1 though, because it was a different story. They weren't telling the same story. So
Right.
that's why I liked it better than episode 1.
Well,
And
it seems to me they still went to go see the Collector.
they did, but for a different reason.
Because I remember the Collector,
Yeah, the
but
Collector.
maybe it was in a different story.
No. They were taking the stone there to sell to him.
Right.
So this time they were doing something else.
Because I remember, and this was from the movie, and I don't remember which movie it was from, but that's the one where Thor and the Hulk battle it out in the Collector's arena.
Oh, nope, that's not the Collector. That's
Oh, that's not the Collector.
nope, that's oh my gosh. I literally just watched Thor Ragnarok today. What is his name? Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
No, he's not the Collector. He's another guy. And
Okay.
and supposedly him and the Collector are supposed to be like really super powered beings, like super scary, and the movies haven't really portrayed them like that. So people were like happy when the Collector and What If was like a lot stronger and like a lot more powerful, because I guess that's how they are in the comics. Oh my god, like I'm trying to remember what Jeff Goldblum's character is called.
He looks like the Collector.
They're both crazy. They're both like crazy, eccentric, powerful beings.
Well, how it was drawn in the cartoon, he looked like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, he's a Benicio del Toro.
Oh, okay.
Um,
He looks nothing at all like Jeff Goldblum.
no.
So,
But I liked it better, and I also liked it because T'Challa, Star-Lord, solved problems by talking and not fighting.
right.
And so I like that. And so when they got in a fight with the Collector towards the end, I felt like it was more natural and not like forced and not like overwhelming. Where the Peggy Carter one, it was just like the whole episode was just fighting. And it's like, no.
Yeah, just fight.
Like, tell a story. Get me like interested before just constant fighting. So I liked episode 2 better than episode 1. But I like the Star-Lord story better than Captain America. So I don't know if I'm influenced by that.
It might be because you like that story better anyway. So.
Yeah. And then episode 3 came out today, which I already watched, but I won't talk about it.
I haven't seen it yet because
Yeah.
I was catching up last night.
and I've like, it's like left my head for a second. What was it about? Oh, I remember. Okay. I'll say I still like episode 2 the best so far.
Okay.
So do we want to know what we want to read next?
I'm done with the What If series
Yeah.
because it's just so dang long, and it's just I don't I just don't particularly like this series because it's so long and because they're like not really.
They're not good.
Yeah, they're cramming like 4 comics into one long one, and
Yeah.
it's like no.
This is the time to use like that chapter or section division so that I can feel like maybe I've completed reading one comic and like move on to a next one. And there,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just it's continuous. It needs like breaks or something. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't think this was a good idea. Or I mean, it was a good idea, but this was not the way to do it.
It was poorly executed.
Poorly executed.
The idea is poorly executed.
I don't
So I'm
know.
kind of surprised though that they turned this one into a cartoon for Disney.
Yeah. I wonder if they
kinda
get
like-
better. I'm sure I think they've like restarted almost all of the comics in like the 2000s.
Yeah.
So maybe like the new ones are better than these 1977 ones.
Maybe.
I don't know if we want to jump to whenever they restarted all the comics and maybe try one of those, or what we want to do.
So what have we looked at so far is we've read Doctor Strange and Hulk and Fantastic Four.
And now what if?
And now what if? You know, you really like the Thor Ragnarok ones. Maybe we should look at and the Loki. Maybe we should
Look at one of those.
look at one of those.
All right, I'll do some research and see. I know Loki has his own series in like the 2000s, but I'll see where they started. Yeah, maybe try the Thor and Loki, because that also is like not science based. I feel if we stay away from the not science based ones, that it'll be better. Because I don't think Marvel can do science very well. I think their science just makes me angry.
I just boo-booed my tablet.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's
All
just
right.
a little crack in
So
the corner.
we'll look and we'll see what we want to do.
Yeah, hang on a minute. I want to show you something I got at the grocery store.
Okay, I'm gonna stop streaming.